Whether you're a teen or 30-something, we see too much sucker shit going on in the world. Not enough of us are sharing the script to help us all do better for ourselves. Enjoy this unfiltered, no bullshit game about how to survive and thrive in your Black awesomeness. Come through, listen, and think with the Queen.
Alrighty. So thank you so much for joining me, Carla. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. So, okay. So, um, tell me and the audience a little bit about yourself, just so we can get some background. Because Black Indigo Naturals, it sounds like a candy store to me.
Well, you know what's funny? As far as your skin is concerned and like taking good care of yourself, it's definitely become a bit of a Willy Wonka-esque type of experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
Black Indigo Naturals is an offshoot of my overall brand, which is Black Indigo World.
Mm-hmm.
We can get into that later. There's one of our topics is going to touch on that later, but I am one of those people who, when I see that there's a problem, I do my best to solve it, whether it's for me, the people around me. And what happened was my hair started falling out from stress.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've been natural since I was a teenager, but yeah, I had locks, but it was one of those things where stress of working in a DOE school, life stress, all kind of stuff. My hair started to thin out in the front a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So in the midst of myself being an artist, because my artist arm is Black Indigo Music, like so I do all these things, but I was like, I have to solve this problem. And I'd been using other companies' products like Carol's Daughter and Shea Moisture and stuff like that, but I'm allergic to almonds. And sweet almond oil is a major component in a lot of natural skincare and hair care products.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out that even though it made my hair feel nice, but my scalp was itching and flaking. I'm like, what the, you know? So that's when I went to Shea Moisture, and I found that shea butter and my hair agreed very, very well with one another. But then, you know, after at least 3 years of dumping my wallet out at Dwayne Reed every time I saw Shea Moisture, I was like, yank. Then they do that campaign where they let all them white girls tell the stories that I, as a Black 4C woman, had to live through growing up. Oh, I used to hate my hair. What? Did you get called Beady Buckshot? Did you get called Snaps? Were you called Medusa? Like, let's get into it, you know? And the fact that this company could be so tone deaf as to let women who couldn't possibly have gone through the level of disrespect and just overall torture with respect to like beauty standards, not seeing yourself and all of that stuff. How dare you let these white girls tell our story? Who do you people think you are? Girl talking about, I used to hate my hair. I wanted to be blonde. I hated being a redhead. Bitch, if you don't get you some business. So it was more than I could stand. And that ad hurt me. That campaign hurt me so much because it triggered so many things. I cried. A grown woman, I'm like 37 years old, talking about, they can't do that. Who's in the writer's room? Because it and I knew that I wasn't the only person who felt that way, but I thought maybe just when I thought I was overreacting, the issue caught fire. And I was like, see, that's what you get for disrespecting your core audience now. And all of us were like, Shea Moisture, where? And we all kind of collectively turned our heads away. So I had no excuse not to do the same thing I was doing to try to replace some of the Carol's Daughter products that she discontinued. Why can't I do something for these Shea Moisture products that surely I'm smart enough to figure out? I start turning them labels around, and 3 years of product research later, here we are. Black Indigo Naturals it's scalp to soul. I do everything from hair tea, hair butter. I do a magic buttercream all over the body. I mean, I do bath salts, detoxifying mask for the face, soap bars. Aromatherapy is really the jam, though. You know what I mean? So it's like, so this is a stressful time.
Absolutely. And I have maybe 2 or 3 Bath and Body Works candles that, you know, I was like, yeah, I'm going to save these for an extra stressful time, you know, when I want to feel special. But now it's like, okay, I want to support us. Like I need some of our products in my, instead. Like that's gonna be the backup when I don't went through everything and I may be
Right.
broke and I
While I'm
can't
waiting on my
afford to
order to
re-up.
come,
Right. That's what I'm a fuck with Bath and Body Works.
it's
But
that way.
yeah, but I mean, as far as like, I don't know what it was. It was, and I mean, of course, with everything going on, COVID, it just made me wake up to, and I hate to even refer to it like that, but
But it was a
like,
revelation.
yeah, like, you know what? These motherfuckers really don't care about us.
All I want to
Like,
say is
but
that
yeah,
they
we be breaking our necks to get them coupons and be breaking our necks for them semi-annual sales and shit. Nah, fuck that. I will have a sale with my own people.
it's that
So I've been trying to actively and like intentionally look at where I'm buying stuff and I'm
hmm
supporting us. So
it's exactly that. Like I want to make the t-shirts that are made by my people. I want to read the
mhm,
books written, and it's not to the exclusion of anybody else, but it's just I'm going to keep that same energy. Just like you said, the same energy I had towards Carol's daughter, she didn't have that energy towards me when she went big time. The quality of her products changed.
mhm.
All of a sudden, them African sounding things just started to fade out the product line and insect.
It didn't even feel the same when you were using it. Like it started out good and then all of a sudden it just stopped working. Like, what is this? This is not
Right.
supposed to happen. My hair texture ain't changing. So why is the product changing?
And the same thing happened with Shea Moisture. And I think because we had gone through that with Carol's daughter, and we all were like, wait a minute. When it started happening with Shea Moisture, we started being like, girl, do you notice that souffle don't do what it used to do? Girl, yeah. My curl don't be, I don't know why my hair be feeling crunchy and it never did that before. We started
Mhm.
talking amongst ourselves like, did you notice? Yeah, girl, I thought it was me. And see, but that's that collectivism, right? I feel
Mhm.
like once we started realizing that maybe they're not talking to us, I think we just kind of started thinking about it. Wait a minute, why are you not talking to us? Hold on a
Mhm.
minute. Who are you talking to? And now you're watching us turn our eyes away from these big corporations into each other.
Yep.
I would rather have a garment that's handmade or made in a smaller batch from a company that's sustainable rather than this fast fashion at H&M that likes to put monkey sweatshirts on people.
Yep.
Like the
Yep.
disrespect has reached an all-time level. So when you pointing at like, and Rona, once we was in the house and we were stuck and all we could do was look at the programming in front of us, it
Mhm.
was like,
Yeah. You start
and
seeing a propaganda for what it was all along.
hmm and you
So
start re-examining your priorities. So I know this has been a really rough time for the world, but I'm a Buddhist, and we talk about how you change poison into medicine. This is a situation that was poisonous in one sense, but for those who had the awareness to see what other, like to watch the whole board, so to speak, I feel like people like us saw opportunity and said, I'm gonna reach my hand here and pull this out. Let's see. That kind of experience. So I love how you're saying like Rona just made you think. That's
mhm.
exactly what happened. But I'd started doing it before then and I was giving it out as gifts. And then someone said, I need some more of that, but I don't want it for free. I'm going to bring you money. I was like, all right, sure.
Mhm.
But then when Rona happened, I was forced to go online. And that was the blessing for me. Once I
Mhm.
couldn't do hand-to-hand sales and I couldn't get on the train and just drop packages off, I had to rely on the postal service. So I had to have a website to catch the orders. And you know what I mean?
Yep.
So the difficulty created necessity, which opened the door to opportunity. It's one of those
Yep.
things,
Exactly.
you know?
Wonderful. Wonderful. So one of the many things you do, because I like myself, I think I consider you a renaissance woman. It's very rare that I come across another one. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it's hard to find somebody that can have their mind thinking about so many different things and be making moves and pulling triggers and still be able to give people the love and care that they need.
Right.
Um, and one of the things that is in your repertoire is that you're a high school teacher. So
Yes.
tell me about that, because I want to have a connection with teenagers, but
Yeah.
after a recent interaction I've had, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I need to talk to somebody who has experience
hmm
in order to figure out where I went wrong. So,
You know what? Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share because I think like the whole struggle creates opportunity. My teenage years were rough.
Mine too.
So, I dealt with low self-esteem. The bullying from grade school became the mean girl stuff in high school, and I wear glasses. I just don't wear them for broadcast because but like being considered less attractive than the white girls and the Latina girls. So there was a lot of stuff going on, and I found that the adults wanted to encourage me, but they did the best they could, and even they were battling with some of the programming in their head, like things, even something as simple as my hair and what to do. My mother treated her hair like it was just an accessory on top of her head. I felt like my dad had a different relationship to his hair and his hair texture. And, that's another conversation. So all of these different tensions, and then you think about the media, like in the 90s, because I was a teenager in the 90s.
Yeah, me too. We're the same age, surprisingly, 37.
Okay, so then let's get into it. So we're getting bombarded with these messages, right? Be sexy, be gorgeous, older men, all of this imagery coming at us from all sides, and then the media, and we were the ones who watched our elders go through crack and AIDS. Like, so there was so many, like this bucket of trauma going on. So navigating my teenage years was hard. My teachers because I went to LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts.
Okay.
So being in a school where everybody was different from where they came from, it was like this little pod, this space where so many different personality types just came up against each other, and creativity and different styles and vibes. And we started to dress like one another. And, people from the Bronx was rocking a style from Brooklyn. Like we would just be like figuring out who you were became a thing. You could do it at school, right? So what I found was, that was the time I was able to really get to know myself. So teenage years, I have an affinity towards that time because I know that there's just so much that people expect you to know, but don't ask you if anybody taught you. I feel like Black children, they look at us like we're adults before we are. So a lot of assumptions are made about us when we're teenagers. They treat us like young adults because the world is so harsh on Black people. And when we were coming up, we were how many years out of the civil rights era? 20, 30 max? We were born in 79. So like 68, 79. That's much time if you consider how old we are now, So it's like, so because high school was so rough, but I really had great teachers. When my brother was killed in the Iraq War in 2005, I was working in corporate. So I was doing that thing, right? But when he was killed suddenly in the war, I had to ask myself, I'm alive and he's dead. Why? And I really started to think about what aspects of our lives were different to where I would be here and he would be gone, right? And I realized that my brother didn't have to end up in the military. Had one teacher pulled his throat and pulled him to the side and be like, look, you need to get you a mission, and gotten him right the way somebody pulled me to the side and was like, all right, look, you got way too much talent to all this lack of focus, broke it down for me at that crucial time where, how like every teenager comes to a point where either you use your powers for good or you get destructive. Somebody grabbed me right before I started tearing shit up. Nobody got my brother. They treated him like a menace rather than because he didn't want to be controlled, but he was really smart. He could think for himself. All you had to do with him was reason. But people were trying to control Black boys in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So that divergence in how our talent and creativity was treated by the adults in our school space. Because school's the door to what happens next, right?
Yeah. That's why it's the training ground for their system.
That part, right? So my brother ended up going to Job Corps, and then he got kicked out of Job Corps with 2 weeks to go for something small. They made an example out of him and threw the book at him right before he was done. So he exited without those skills, without the certificate for his skills. What did he have to do? Join the Army National Guard. Finished his guard service, graduated, but then the economy went in the shitter, right? You know what I mean? And what happened, 2001 popped off, right? because my brother didn't have a college degree, he was having a hard time finding a job paying him above minimum wage, and he had a family. What did he do? Enlist in the army.
Yep.
And that's when he died. So it wasn't East River Projects. It wasn't back when he was running drugs. It wasn't back when he had Glock 9s in his coat walking down the street like it was nothing. Wasn't when he was running with his homies. Wasn't none of those things took my brother out here. The military did.
Wow.
So I decided, you know, because I felt so powerless. Like I went through PTSD after my brother, because I'm a Buddhist. So losing your sibling in war to someone who's anti-war, it's double trauma, you know, because philosophically it fucks you up and emotionally it fucks you up, right?
Right.
I had to do something. So once the PTSD had me quit my job, I held on for like maybe a year and a half. My brother died.
Oh, we lost you real quick. That's okay. Let me get you back.
I have no idea what happened.
I
I have no clue.
Zoom.
I've just been sitting here and it said, bloop, open back up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but I'm here.
Okay. I can't see you just yet, but that's okay. But continue your thoughts. So,
No, but I was just saying, like, so I had to do something about it. And I was out of work for almost 2 years. And at that point, I was like, I have to do something. And that's when I saw the poster for the New York City Teaching Fellows. And I had never really paid attention to it before. I didn't think I was strong enough to be a teacher because I had such a challenging time in high school and school in general. But for some reason, after my brother passed, I was like, maybe this is my chance to be that person that my brother didn't have. To be 100% honest, that's really what drove me into teaching.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And what a way to honor him. You know what I'm saying? Like every child you touch is him touching somebody because he was what motivated you to do that. So that's beautiful.
That's all for him. It's really serious. It's all for him. Especially because I really, you know how you really pray on something and because you don't understand? That was the only, that literally was the one thing. I had a college degree. He did not. Or some kind of like certificate that was worth, you know, some type of monetizable, you know, because if he had, right, because if he had his credentials from Job Corps, he'd have been making bank off the rip as an independent contractor.
Right.
He'd have been straight. But they chose to make an example out of that black boy rather than setting an example for that black boy. And I don't know, it just didn't sit right with me because I traced it all the way back because he was almost done. He had 2 weeks left. They couldn't give him a certificate. He trained for 12 months.
See, I mean, that's why you're a Buddhist, because you know me. Nah, I'm showing up at somebody's house over some shit like that, you know. But that was whole.
I was a teenager. I mean, I was a teenager when that thing happened to my brother because he was 2 years older than me. And when my brother died, what could I do? The country was in the midst of they still had the thirst for war. Yeah. The war was fresh.
Absolutely.
2005. So he was amongst the first 1,500 to die. My brother was like 1199 or something like that. 11. Because there was a point when we were still counting them.
Yeah.
My brother died early enough that we were still counting soldier deaths.
Crazy.
15 years later, there's still more kids getting sent home in boxes from the same conflict. So, yeah, we never know what's going to actually be the thing that brings us the greatest joy in our life. Because I'm going to be real with you, Teaching Fellows changed everything. I met my man. I got to work in my neighborhood. I made some of the best friends. I got all these kids I was able to adopt as a co-parent with their parents. Like, I was able to get So even that pain of losing him and having to get all the way down to my belly. And my life has been on an upward trajectory since then, to be completely honest with you. But sometimes things have to be bigger than you to make you move.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to do something about the powerlessness that I was feeling because it was starting to eat me alive. So the first thing I did, I forgot, creativity and art will save your life because I'm a singer, right? After I left my job, the following, like that summer, maybe the following summer, I did a musical about the Iraq War, the same war that killed my brother. And who did I play? Condoleezza Rice. The one person I actually hold responsible for it. Because the president has the power, the Congress has the power to declare war. The president had the war powers. He said Condoleezza Rice is important because she's the only person who explains things to me in a way that I can understand. She had the power to be like, wait a fucking minute, hold on. I know they telling you X, Y, and Z, but boop, 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 whap, that bit, bop, and bop, because she was smart enough. She knew. Right. That girl had a master's degree at 16. So to be the person amongst those I hold responsible for losing the person that meant so much to me, like that process of, and the director said, I don't want you to play character, because it was a musical, but and it was funny in certain ways till it gets dark, right? But the director said, I don't want you to become caricatures of these people. I want you to capture the essence of them. I was like,
yeah, because you was about to go all in, huh? Like all the way. All the way.
Girl, she was finna be the most sinister bitch alive. She was about to be Condoleezza DeVille. I was about to like the whole, like she skins puppies. Yes, she used them for her shoes. Like I was going to go hard. But then once he said that, it forced me to look at it totally different. So I took my script in front of my altar and I prayed and I chanted an hour every day. And I learned my script in front of my altar every day, learning my script every day, just reading the lines, chanting, coming to understand. I was the first one off book. There came a point I was like, and I just started acting. The director was like, no, she's not equity, but she's caliber though, darling. She's got skills. And because I was personally connected to the subject matter, there came a really deep point where Saddam Hussein is about to be taken off to his death, right? This is relevant for a reason. And all of a sudden, and I'm in character, Connie standing there, but all of a sudden, it's not me, Eric, John, Justin, Paul. It was Dick Cheney, Condoleezza Rice, George W. Bush, Saddam Hussein, and the guards taking him off to his death. And there's just this moment in the script where it hits her that it was always about the oil. So my character was playing it straight the entire time. They're telling her, we setting people free. We building the world into what it should be. This is about democracy, da, da, da. And that's the moment where she realizes it's about the oil, right? I'm in character. And all of a sudden, I'm her. And I wanted to be anywhere other than in her skin. I was so fucking appalled. The way I said it was about the oil, it just was so disgusted. And then these tears just started rolling down my eyes. And I'm pissed. And then Dick Cheney walks up and is like, yeah, it's hard to find good help nowadays, talking about me. This motherfucker calls me the help. I am livid. And then the scene ends and the director yells, cut. We had a 10-minute break. I spent the entire 10 minutes pacing back and forth in the hallway, calming down.
I bet.
I spent the whole break returning from the 100 I went to back to, okay, so what are we doing? I walked out and stayed outside this for 10 minutes. The whole time we were in break, I didn't see anybody. I was like, so when I ended up, you know what I mean? So then it just was so even though I despised her as a figure, because I was forced to go deeper than that, I found compassion for her as a person. And something in that set me free, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Like, do you know how much, I just can't imagine how much strength it takes in order to do that. Like, I imagine that people that, like, when you hear those stories about a parent that faces the killer of their child or something like that, and how they're able to show restraint and forgive and, you know, still be able to show compassion for that person. Like, it's, man, that is just, that's
When
crazy.
just thinking about it, it takes me back. I'm like, yeah, I remember. And then there's a point that by the end, when the end of the thing is happening and there's a point where you can't see me, like you can't hear me, but as the people are being taken away, I'm just like, I am so sorry. I am so, so, so sorry. I'm just mouthing it to the families and I'm just like crying on the side. I'm in character, but I'm just like, I'm apologizing and I'm like crying, but I'm still standing, at attention, doing my thing. But I'm just like, I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not moving except for my face and like this much of my head, because there's no way, if she's truly a human being, that she's okay with what happened. I fucking refuse it. That's a black woman. Deep down, that's a black woman from Alabama. It's in there.
Yeah, but we don't know how far it's buried. We don't know if it's even came to light yet. If it's,
Hey, that's all right. She got an oil tanker with a named after her, so she ain't worried about it. She's crying into her money. She's fine. But for that moment, Condoleezza Rice got to be a human being instead of a monster. And what was crazy, in my review from Broadway.com, they talked about, because I did Fringe Festival, that's what it was a part of. They were like, they said that I imbued the character with more compassion than perhaps she actually deserved.
mm-hmm.
So they said I treated her better than she deserved.
I mean, just hearing you retell the story, recant, just shows that. Like, I mean, she's one of those Sambos as far as I'm concerned. I care nothing. You know what I'm saying? So but
she had all those labels in my head. Every last one
right.
of them. I promise you she did, Doja. I
But
promise you.
your reenactment of her, and you just telling it to me not even have been there physically and witnessed it with my own eyes, made me feel just a little bit of compassion for her, that she may have been tricked just as easily, or you know what I'm saying, as much as anybody else, so
because I played it like the smart woman who thought she was so smart that she couldn't see the con game happening all around her. That's, if you think, because actors make choices, right? When you watch characters and stuff, the same actor can play the same, two different actors can play the same role and they'll flip it totally different. That's why Shakespeare is always so cool, to see how they do it.
right.
I chose to play her as the smart woman who thought she was so smart she understood, only to realize that all you saw was your piece of it, sweetheart. All of this other shit has been going on around you this whole time, but they've been telling you, but you're too close to it. Like, it was that kind of thing. So when it was about the oil hits, she's like, wait a fucking minute. What did I just let these crackers make me do to these fucking people? Hold on, oh, shit. She's repulsed at herself, at them, at the it comes from like you know what I mean? Because if I was a human being, and I thought I was so freaking smart that I knew everything, and surprise, it's about this. You were a tool, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have been sick to discover that I'm not actually I'm not a weapon, I'm a tool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a gun, I'm a hammer. I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off because you treat weapons differently than you treat tools, don't we?
Yeah, most definitely.
And that's how I played it. I played it like a weapon. I played it like a person who thought they were a weapon and found out that they were a tool.
Wow.
It was a fucking tool. I mean, I don't wish her no good nights of sleep, but
right.
those were the choices that I made. But going through that part, that was a piece of the opening of really breaking through. And what's crazy, my brother's wife did some shady shit with his like life insurance policy when he went off.
Mm-hmm.
She got a whole $1 million to herself. And we didn't know about it till the MP showed up and told. Yeah, she's gone now, so I don't care about it. She's not alive anymore.
Mm.
She used my brother, and the universe was like, "Oh yeah,
Snatch that all the way up.
gone. You chose money over family. Here you go. That's all you have." Oh, until the military found out that she did something shady and they wanted their money back. It was gone. She couldn't give it to him. I did that play in the summer of 2008. She was gone by then.
Mm.
The universe don't play with the anointed ones. People
They
who
sure
do
don't.
right. That's also why, I get mad at stuff, but I don't dabble too much in getting revenge anymore because I would much rather the big come down and I have nothing to do with it.
Exactly, exactly. Like it was funny when you mentioned about that pivotal point at the teenage, at that teen age where you're either going to use your powers for good or evil. Um, it's funny because my father, like, he disappeared when I was like 9 months. And as I've gotten older and learned about him, I found out that that was the moment. Like he was displaying manipulative behavior as a teenager. Like my uncle is, I think he said he's 7 years younger than my father, and he said when my father was like 15, 16, he was already manipulating people, convincing them to do things that he wanted them to do. And then, sure enough, I call him a supervillain. Like he is one of those type. He is. I mean, he's one of those types of men that preys on women, gets them, convinces them. I mean, goes as far as marrying them, and he sucks
He's the
them
big
out of
bad.
everything, money, self-respect, everything. And then when he's done, he just walks off. So um,
That's an
so it's funny
incubus.
because once I got reconnected with my siblings, because I found out I had siblings, like I'm the last of his like illegitimate children. So
Oh,
um, but my older brother, we say that we are his children that decided to use our powers for good in order to combat his evilness that he's put out into the universe. And so
I
that's why I
admire
was,
that.
yeah, that's why I was like, it was just powerful that somebody else acknowledges that, sees that, that's out there.
It's important, and that's why high school is so much fun. Like I've worked in the music industry. That was cute. I've worked for nonprofit. I worked for a.com. But teaching is the only profession I've ever had that being tired ever felt worth it at the end of the day.
Mm,
That's
okay.
the only, because when I'm exhausted after a long day of being Miss Kelly, aka mom, aka auntie Miss Kelly, like when I'm tired after that, when I feel wrung out,
Hmm.
I know why. And I'm good with it. And I have a reason to recharge and do it all over again. Whereas
Right.
when I was just sending emails and working spreadsheets and sending out rosters and I
Yeah.
was cutting and pasting my way to an early death. But these
Hmm.
kids, they keep it popping. Like they've always got questions. There's always a new reason to tell a story and reteach yourself a lesson you had to learn to help one of them. Like I think the best thing the most useful piece of advice I can give any adult who works with teenagers or interacts with them is they're people.
Right.
By the time they're teens, there are things that they've seen that have formulated their opinions on stuff. There are habits that they've developed that they may or may not be aware of. Some of them are detrimental to them, some of them are positive. They're people. So the same way in which you would want someone who met you to get to know you as a person and then try to tell you what to do, I feel like with teenagers, by giving them space to get to know us, we validate whatever they've been through before they've encountered us as adults.
Right.
Just because we're nice doesn't mean we're not snakes. We have to earn their trust. Like they have to earn our respect. We have to earn their trust.
Right. Right. And you know what? And I thought, and to be honest, and I referenced this because of my recent experience,
Mm-hmm.
and it was because the child is 15, and basically, like, she was being punished. Like she had did something, her mother was irritated, was like, look, I'm going to bring her over here. I need you to keep her for a couple days, I'll pick her up. Okay, so I think that the teenager was mad that she was being just this, you know what I'm saying, just displaced like this with no, regardless of what she did. And most of the time she would think that her mother was overreacting about whatever she was mad at her about anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So the the day before she was to be picked up, I had some mail come, and there was a small package. It was probably about this size or so, and I was on some calls. My husband brought the mail in, put it on the table, went to do minding his own business. So when I came in to get the mail, one of the packages was ripped open, and out of the two items that were inside of it, one of them was missing. Now, both of them happened to be bracelets that I bought for me and my husband. So before I jumped to conclusions, I questioned him. Then I started looking for the transaction to make sure that there wasn't some mix up in packing. Like I went through every single possible
Mm-hmm.
scenario
Right, right,
before I automatically assumed.
right.
So before so we live with his grandparents. So I talked to the woman of the house. I said, hey, this is the situation. This is the packaging. This is what I'm thinking. So she said, what you want to do? I said, well, she's a teenager. Before we get her mother involved, I want to try to have an honest conversation with her. If she gives me back the item and it takes responsibility, then we can have a different conversation with her mother when
Right.
she comes to pick her up. So
Reasonable.
yeah, so they were like, okay, well, we're going out of town tomorrow. Just wait till we leave to have this conversation. And I'm like, okay. So I do. But before I have the conversation with the teenager, I talk to her mom. I sent her mom a text saying, hey, what's up? How you doing? Trying to see what her day's going like. She called me back and she's like, what's going on? Everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, everything all right. I was like, I'm just checking on you. You still coming through to pick up your daughter. And she was like, yeah, you sure everything okay? I'm like, yeah, everything fine. I just kept it at that. And I was like, I'll see you when you get here. Cool. So we hang up. So I wait a little bit, then I knock on the door in the bedroom that the teenager's in. I ask her if I can speak to her. She says sure. So she comes in. She sits on. Before she sits on the bed, I show her the package, and I was like, "Hey, I wanted to ask you about this." And she says, "Oh, are you giving me that?" And I was like, "No, I wanted to ask you about why this package is like this." And she was like, "Oh, well, I didn't steal your bracelet." Now, you just heard what I said. Like, I didn't acknowledge what was in it. I didn't, anything like that. So I tried a couple times. I was like, look, I'm trying to show you as much respect as I possibly can and try to talk to you in a way no other adult is going to talk to you about this. So if, I just want to know what's going on. Your behavior has been, it's been different than it usually has these last few months. And I mean, she's been running away. It's been a whole bunch of shit. And all of this is happening during quarantine. So it's just really fucked up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, your behavior's been different. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on because, when your mom gets here, we're going to, of course, have to talk about this. So, she's like, I can't believe you accused me. This the second time somebody accused me of stealing things. I feel so disrespected, blah, blah, blah. She starts going off, putting on the show. I'm like, okay. I was like, look, I'm gonna, when your mom gets here, we'll talk about it, and she was like, well, I'm about to call my mom right now. And I'm like, look, I know you're gonna call your mom, but your mom gets off at 4:30. Like, what time your mom gets off work. Can you at least wait till she gets off the clock before you actually call her to so we can get into this? So before I even got halfway away from the room, she was already calling her mom, of course. So her mom, now me and her mom, we're supposed to be best friends. Like for the last couple years, we have been pretty much each other's support system. I'm supporting her dealing with a teenage daughter that's rebelling. She's supporting me with my personal issues that I going on, as well as I'm trying to encourage her to start pursuing her own business pursuits. So we're really trying to hold each other down. So By the time I talked to her mother on her way home from work, she was like, "So, what are you telling me that you think my daughter stole something from you?" I said, "Yes." She was like, "Well, my daughter is many things, but my daughter ain't no thief." And I'm like trying to say, like, I don't think your daughter's a thief. I think that she did this because she's upset. And we need to figure out why she's upset that she would think that this was the way to do that. But she cut me off. She was like, "Well, I know my daughter didn't steal anything from you, so we're done. Our friendship is done." Blah blah blah. She ended the friendship right there. I haven't talked to her since, and this was like maybe, let's say maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I mean, I've mourned the friendship. I've kind of like gotten to a point where I'm like, you know what? I feel like I gave more than I would got back, and I wish you the best. Like, that's really all I can say about it, because I can't put myself in that position to,
Right.
I feel like, you didn't really value our friendship enough that you wouldn't even hear me out. Like, you
Yeah.
immediately just dismissed me. Um, so, but I was just, but that's why I wanted to tell you that situation, because I'm curious on where you think, or
This isn't about you. I mean, because the fact that you, the tell is this: you never said what was in the package.
Mhm. Exactly. And I made sure that I recorded the conversation on the strength that I'm dealing with somebody's child and there's
Right.
not another adult here. So I wanted to make sure if later in the future, because I
It's a
don't,
conversation.
yeah,
Like,
I can
oh,
defend
now that
myself.
we're having a conversation, let's talk receipts.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always the best. Yeah, no, because that's not about you. Like, them two got some things going on. Those
Definitely.
two have some things going on. They've got some things they got to work through, because clearly mom had to get like however many hours away from that child anyway.
Hmm.
So
We
she's
live
dealing
10 minutes apart from each other, just so you know.
no,
So,
but no, no, I'm saying as far as the days she spent with you, like
yeah,
24 hours, 48. She had to have a couple of days without that kid in her space. So clearly there's some stuff going on here.
yeah,
You were trying to be a part of the team to help diffuse the situation, but you know what I
yeah,
mean? It's one of those things where you did the right thing because you never said what was in the package. You're just like,
right,
I didn't steal your bracelet. What bracelet?
right.
What if this was a surprise for me and I didn't know what was in the package?
Hmm.
You see where I'm
Exactly.
coming from, right? So that's how I can say you didn't accuse, because somebody could have been like, "Yo, Doja, I'm sending you this box. It's something for you and your husband. Let me know what you think of it." And they may not have told you what it was.
Right. Exactly.
So you put a package on on the thing. You're like, and nothing else has been changed except what you saw, and you just put it as is on in front. And someone tells you what's inside, and you
Hmm.
never stated what that was.
Yeah.
These are what are called clean hands. I'm sorry about the loss of the trinket, but physical things can always be replaced. I feel,
Exactly.
but I feel badly for that young lady's mother, because parents have to be willing to dialogue with their kids. Like, good parenting doesn't always mean you can't talk to my kid. Don't disrespect my child, but if you're not disrespecting my child, but my child may have disrespected you, it's conversation time. Because if
Yeah.
I'm saying it's okay to do it to you, one of my closest friends, someone who's actually been a part of the support system, that's keeping her up, to keep it real. Because
Yeah.
if mommy's happy, baby's well, right? So if just like that, rather than having an adult to adult conversation, my daughter may be many things. See right there, I never called the daughter many things.
Exactly. I'm not even calling her a thief. I just acknowledge that I think she stole something. But I remember being an only child. I remember rebelling. I remember taking things
Yeah,
that didn't belong to me. I that's why I tried to come at her in a way that I wish somebody would have came at me at that time.
yeah, no,
And I mean, a lot of the shit I did when I was her age, I got away with because there weren't other adults that could watch me, that type of thing. I lived with an elderly relative. My great grandfather, he, has his own health issues. He's not paying attention to what a teenager is doing. He's in his 80s. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? So he got other things on his mind. So I'm all out there just
Ripping and
doing
running.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? So when my mom finally get the picture, she don't even know. Still don't even know half the stuff that was going on and I was doing back then. So when I'm talking to a teenager, I'm like, yo, I understand. Like, I know I know what you're going through. Like, just,
Mhm.
be
And
prepared. Like, when she got into the major trouble, I was like, you done fucked up, right? She was like, yeah. And I was like, just know that people still love you. Like, just because they're mad at you right now doesn't mean they're going to be mad at you forever. Just roll through this, stay on the low, keep your nose clean, and you'll be fine.
you're
She
going
didn't
to
do
get
that.
your apology when the time comes because you played it all above board. And even as a teacher, I got to be honest, there are things that I've said to my students and they thought I was dead wrong and I was right.
Hmm.
Some kids came back years later. She was like, yeah, so Miss Kelly, you remember that time you had said that if I would only go da 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 da. Yeah, I remember that. You're right. A little louder, please, baby.
Hmm.
Well, thank you so much. And it takes a lot of courage to come back and let another person know that they were right when you previously told them that they were wrong. I really respect that. Thank you so much. Because I don't want to make them afraid to admit when they're wrong in the future,
Absolutely. Because that's the
right?
point. The lesson is to learn accountability, is to learn taking responsibility for your actions and when you're wrong or do wrong. Like
Because
that's
adults do wrong all the time. And
yes.
that's what I think a lot of teenagers don't realize either. And maybe we don't do a good enough job of showing how to take responsibility for our mistakes. Maybe we don't model that enough for our kids,
Yeah, I don't
right?
think we do.
Because making mistakes doesn't equal being a bad parent.
Right.
Parenting poorly is being a bad parent. But being a human being and trying to be the best example you can for your kids, even when you screw up, that's good parenting.
Exactly.
What that looks like in each person is going to be different, but that's good parenting. Like my father had a lot of personal issues. And emotionally, we would be at odds a lot. But as far as like being there to be my dad, my father really did the best he could. I know he did. It's one of those things where it's like we've had our thing, we've had to have several difficult talks once I hit adulthood so he could understand some things from my perspective rather than just his own, right? But that's growing pains. That's how adult children earn their adult parents' respect as adults, right? So we've done
Right.
those combos. But like I had to teach my dad how to treat me as an adult because I was in such a observational, didn't feel like I had any real power to negotiate my space in the world aside from being an artist.
Mm,
So
yeah.
other thing I think sometimes you got to lead with questions too. Because my kids in class, they would do stupid shit. I'd be like, rather than be like, that was wrong, I'd be like, wait a minute, hold on. What made you do that?
Yeah. Why'd you think that was the move?
That part. Help me understand. Yeah, help me understand. I just need to know you're thinking. No, 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 no. We'll deal with that later. Whatever. I want to know what made you think that doing that was okay. That's the part I need to understand. We could talk trouble later. I'm confused and I want to be unconfused so I don't get mad.
Right. Right.
If
Because
that's an
I
ego
feel
stance, I'm
like
against it.
I feel like if somebody does something and they explain to me the reason why they did it, and if it makes sense, like, you know what? If I was working with that same information, I probably would have did the same thing. Then I can't be mad at you. Like, I have to be like, okay, but for the future though, I'm
Do
gonna
it
need
again,
you
I'll
not
break
to
your
do that
throat.
shit. Right.
Absolutely. Do it again,
Like,
I'll
I'm gonna
break your
fuck you
face.
up.
Right,
Right.
right. Do it again if you want that to be the last thing you ever do.
Right.
And I
Exactly.
could
Let's learn
see,
this lesson
right.
and move on.
See, and that's that acknowledging and not invalidating, but checking the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm not going to assume you know better. I'm going to tell
Hmm.
you what's right.
Right.
We're going to discuss the right thing to do and the right way to handle stuff. Just so, should you find yourself in a position where you got the opportunity to do this dumb shit again, you choose differently.
Right.
And that's where
Exactly.
I'm a hard ass. Like, I'm not tough. That's the one thing I don't compromise about. Oh, no, no, no. We're going to get to the bottom of this. That's the one thing I'm flexible about. Everything else as a teacher, I don't care because life happens.
Right.
And you do some shit that I don't understand. Oh, we're going to discuss this because I need to understand. Because if I don't understand, I'm going to get mad.
Hmm.
So I would much rather understand what's going on. And then we talk about it and we talk about possible alternatives because I'm still an educator. Help me understand how this is not just blatant disrespect. Let me
Right.
know how you didn't just try me severely. Help me out.
Right.
So I
And then let me tell you what would happen in the real world if you continue to do this shit.
is
You
that
know?
part. So that's where the properly respond part is, right?
Right.
That's when it's, you give them the dirt, and then you go, now, if we weren't at work, if this was
Hmm.
not the way I keep my lights on, let me explain to you what actually would have happened.
Right.
Big old capital If. But I do exactly that.
Yeah.
I give it to them in the context of, because I'm a teacher here, and it's my job to help you learn a lesson to make sure you don't make future mistakes of this caliber that could cost you dearly in the future. I'm going to bust it down like this. But once, like, you understand? Great. Now, let's talk about this. Had you tried this in the street? And then I explain to them how things like that will get their asses whooped.
Yeah.
Because that's the educator part, right? You can't just, you got to like, see, under normal circumstances, like that teenager talking to you like that, being a teenager was what kept her teeth in her mouth.
Right.
Because had your neighbor tried that ish,
Right.
world star,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So it's that adult discernment that we have to model sometimes for our kids, because they don't always know that sometimes your reaction is not appropriate in that space. It's
Right.
valid, but
Not
if you
appropriate.
hold it, right, if you hold it for a little, just hold it real quick and find another moment to respond, you'll actually get what you want rather than blowing shit up, and having nothing but conflict to show for it.
Exactly.
You
And
know,
sometimes if you wait just long enough, the universe will do it for you. And they'll do it in such a way
ooh,
that you wouldn't have done it justice. So
Atlas. Those who do you dirty. Something about trying to build your happiness. And, we can talk about Buddhism now, because I think this is relevant here.
hmm.
Something about, like, we talk about in Buddhism, the importance of like interconnectedness, right? I can't build my happiness off your misfortune. And it's not happiness because it didn't come from me.
Right.
So part of the reason why I do so well in education is because I'm constantly helping students understand who their competition is and who their competition isn't.
Mm.
I'm constantly telling kids, don't people ain't your competition? You are.
But our society is, if you're going to get a job, if you're going to be the best that you can get, you have to compete. Know that you're in competition with everybody else that's
That's the
around
mind
you.
game. That's the
Yeah.
mind game that makes for subjugation. Because here's the thing, if I'm not competing with the person next to me, all I'm focused on is being outstanding.
Right.
There's room for the next person to be outstanding next to me. I'm not watching them. Michael Phelps don't watch nobody when he swims. I promise you. I promise you Simone Biles does not watch other people's routines while she's on the apparatus. I promise you she doesn't. She's not watching nobody else when she's doing her floor routine. Simone's being Simone. So I push kids to stop thinking of their classmates as their competition, but more like their contemporaries, right? Because one thing you'll find, if people are not going to choose you, they'll just find a reason not to choose you. If you're not what they want, you're not what they want, and nothing you can do will make you what they want. But the opposite is also true. What's for you is for you. It won't fit somebody else.
Mm.
They'll try it on and be like, I mean, this is cute, but do the seams have to be here? I mean, feel a little tight around my rib cage. I can't quite breathe because it's not your outfit.
Mm.
So when I get my kids into focusing on what makes them unique and stand apart and cultivating those things and like be excellent at the stuff everybody has to do, well, what makes you different? Okay, so you're talented, and because in high school, that was the vibe. Okay, so you can sing. What else you got? Everybody
Right.
here is talented. And so talent wasn't a personality in high school. It's not. You have to have a personality apart from what it is you do. You could be an excellent actor and get a great role, but everybody hates you. And your classmates don't invite you out to BBQs after we finish the show because nobody wants to hang with you. You go home on the train by yourself. After
Mm.
spending 10 weeks working on the play with these people, you're riding home alone because nobody invited you out. That's personal growth opportunity galore.
Yeah.
So you learn not to be a douchebag. You learn that you have to be more than good at what you do when you find yourself in places where everybody's talented or everyone's like when you go to college, places send their best to college.
Right.
So grades are grades, okay, whatever, but everything is on a curve. So even that doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. Because you're going to come across somebody that's either below you or above you. And
Someone
there's nothing
always
you
fucks
can
up the
do.
curve. Someone
Exactly.
always fucks up the curve. And if you aiming for one thing, when the curve happens, you're like, shit. And you're going to get that C plus, that B minus by
Yeah.
2 points. Whereas last test, that same score was an A minus. So what's the point? All of that shit is made up. Life ain't no multiple choice test. It's not. So
Mm-mm.
my thing with my students is always, yeah, okay, yeah. But learn the material. Understand the concept. Get the information. I'm like, don't compare yourself to nobody. Let them people do that. Because a lot of times we take on some of the pressure that our adults put onto us, and we start walking into their hopes and dreams. And that's hard, especially in certain cultures, to establish your own identity connected to yet distinct from your family. In some places, there is no such thing as individual identity.
Right.
There is no blaze your own trail. It's we're doctors.
Right.
Doctoring is what we do.
You
Those
already know
people,
what you're doing after high school, so there's
these
no
5
talk about.
colleges,
Right.
the rest of them we ain't paying for. Parents have a way of so parents would so socioeconomics doesn't necessarily matter. You know, those pressures get exerted on young people regardless of what their socioeconomics are. Broke families have traditions and self-respect, and don't you be out here we don't such and such. We got mores and rules and stuff. When people act like poor people don't have culture, that's elitist bullshit. If
Oh,
anything,
yes.
we have a stricter code. Wealthy people are loose.
Very much so.
Because the word no doesn't mean anything. The word wait doesn't mean anything. Maybe. What's a maybe? No, I want it. Yoink. See, I have it now. Thanks.
And then when they have to face some real adversity, they don't know how to act and they falling apart.
And that was college. That's where I learned not to be jealous. Because the kids who was talking all of this when they first came to school, yeah, I'm going to have my mom put money in my pocket, like they had it all together. By junior year, when the finding of yourself has settled in, whether you like it to or not, and you're in the society that is campus, I realized having all of those privileges taught me how to tough it out. Being without those privileges taught me how to tough it out. Whereas the other ones were always used to being able to snap their finger and the issue just go away.
Yeah, we don't know nothing about that.
Right, luxury became their crutch. So because I never had luxury, I've always been a builder. I create things out of nothing. This hair butter is growing people's hair back. I know people who have alopecia from some of their medications. This stuff is starting to make the hair return. Like my daddy, he's got like a little blanket of peach fuzz on his scalp. You know what I'm saying?
Wonderful.
So because I'm used to building what I need, now I'm actually able to listen to people talk about skin challenges, hair issues, stress, things like that. And I can put stuff together to be like, all right, look, I'm going to make you a such and such and so and so. They're like, all right, how much? It's not, hey, you should try. It's not, look. Da, 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 da. Boom, 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 boom. I'm using my powers for good. My brain is quick and my hands don't like to be idle. Teenagers, surprised they haven't burnt this whole damn country to the floor. 3 months of watching this country do stupidness and stuck in the house, away from their friends, they can't congregate. We are lucky that they're only raising a little bit of hell. That's why when it was time to protest, them kids were shit. We going outside. Stop killing us. Stop killing my friends. Fresh air. Stop killing us. Stop killing my friends. They couldn't wait to get their asses in the street, get to protesting.
Yeah. But when it gets dark, though, that's my concern. Is when it gets dark, because that's when,
and the vigilante police show up and the secret vans. Well, here's my question. Why are we terrorizing our own citizens? We have the right to peacefully assemble. and civilians don't have tear gas. Miss me with the bullshit.
Yeah, but you
Tear
know
gas
what?
is incendiary.
But you know what? There's provocators out there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people that are purposely going out there and starting the looting and the violence and the destruction just because that mom mentality.
Let
Multiple
me tell
people
you
are going to
something.
join on, huh?
Hey, let me tell you something. The looters and the rioters and the mobsters and the gangsters right now are the police.
No, that's
And
what I'm saying.
because,
They are one and the same. Like they're
right,
going out there in plain clothes with their little identifiers on them, doing the shit.
so we're just supposed to sit in the house and hide and let them keep doing whatever they want to do?
No,
Or do
absolutely
we keep
not.
assembling and keep letting them expose themselves? Because I agree with you. Yes, it is dangerous.
Mhm.
Yes. But it shouldn't be. That's
No,
like
you're
what
right.
Martin and them. They kept going out there because there's no reason why people walking down the street not bothering anybody should be getting sprayed with hoses.
Yeah,
In South Africa, with the anti-apartheid marches and stuff, but there's no reason why that shootout should have happened at that school.
right.
Somebody had to, but it wasn't until shit got so naked that picture got out of South Africa and it hit the world news wire, and then people were like, wait a damn second, whoa. Because up until this point, people thought apartheid was way more benign than it was.
Right.
So I get it. And these are people's children. So y'all are
Mhm.
gassing these folks, spraying them, and you got to go home to your own kids and be like,
But see, but that's the thing. Their kids at home don't look like the kids that are getting sprayed.
here's the thing.
Their lives matter to them.
But here's the thing. But those kids are paying attention to that, and they getting their asses in the street too.
Yeah,
These new kids,
yeah, they are.
these new kids are G's in ways that we had to learn how to be.
You're right.
They're going out there protesting because they don't see the difference. So many of them are like, well, damn. And then have you in June, some of those videos, these white kids throwing themselves on the bodies of their black friends right as the cops were charging, and then the cops back off.
Mm-hmm.
These kids will never unsee that. They will. The adults may act like it ain't going on, but them kids,
Yeah.
they're
Them
gonna
kids
hold us
should pull it
responsible
up
for
on their
this.
phone and put it in your face. Like, you see it? You see it? Like, they gonna
Kids are
make you
taking down
swallow
their
it.
politician parents. These children are on
Mhm.
some next level shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that Conway, that young Conway girl, I
Yes,
was
Queen.
like,
Oh, little Princess Claudia. That's her new
I
niece. She
was
gets
like, wow.
she gets DoorDash to send a plate from the barbecue to her house. She can't
Yep.
come because her
Right.
parents might come, but she could have a plate. We will send her one of them big Tupperwares, with all
Yep.
of all the fixes. Got the ribs and the biscuit.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell
They
you,
get it.
you don't even have to return that plate. You can keep it.
Now we brought it back and send it to you. Hello,
Yeah, that's
Claudia.
you, boo. That's you.
We sent it. Okay,
The black
Trevante dropped.
delegation. The black delegation sends his plate.
Trevante, the envoy, and his sister Shanita. They're gonna be driving the car. We coming with we come with the grub, putting it on the stoop, and we're freaking leaving because we don't want
Hmm.
none of that on us. But
Right.
thanks to what you did, and she's
Yeah.
not the only one. Some of these kids or these tone deaf celebrities have been checking their throats. I love it, and that's actually I work in a school full of kids who are those kids. The children of the CEOs and the editors of these magazines, DJs on the radio, construction magnates, freaking heiresses to blah, 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 speakers of 5 languages, diplomat kids, all kind of kids is in my school. And here go me, just as black and as urban as I want to be, and I'm blackity black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm excellent at my job.
Yeah.
So I don't code switch. And that's something that I feel like as Black people, especially Black professionals, we must do a better job of in the workplace.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Stop
Because
toning your ethnic down.
exactly. Like my mom, my aunt, like being an 80s baby, they worked in corporate America, whether it's executive assistant, that type of thing. So I learned my white voice very early on.
Oh yeah, I'm fluent.
Yeah. Yeah.
My parents brag about that.
Yep. So, and then, once you tie the name to it, when you use my government name, it doesn't even sound anything close to being black. which I love. But just because I love fucking people up when they really see me in person, they're like, "What?
Yeah,
You're
when you
black?
walk in the door.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting this." You know, so
Right, and you thick too, so forget it. You coming in there,
what it
big black and
do?
brilliant, like, here.
Oh yeah, my little pin, my David Banner pin. I put this on my mask at work, so you
Right.
can't ignore it. Like I can't have my flag up, but you're gonna see the, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see
Me in school, Harriet Tubman. Nah, motherfucking.
it.
Well, no, not. I got the Nine Rosa Parks. I got the Tall, Black, and Smart. I got the
Oh
My
yeah.
Afro T-shirt. All of that.
Oh yeah, I'm building my black T-shirt game up. You know, I'm rocking the Morty right now, but that's just, that's just momentarily. But
I understand completely, but I feel like we have to be celebratory about it as well, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like that's one of the things I loved about Janae and her, I love my curls because, with the white voice, with the pressing of the hair, with the, trying to get as close to what is comfortable for them. And it's like, but no, you know how long it takes me to do my hair and I don't like to do my hair? And then I know I'm gonna sweat it out by the end of the day. Like, bitch, I don't want to go through all that. You don't even pay me
One
enough
heat
to do
flash.
all that shit. Right.
One heat flash. Your waves. Your roots is waves.
Exactly. Exactly. But that was the things that, unfortunately, my mom and generation of women, taught me to do. And
But that was a matter of survival though, because it used to be
absolutely
illegal for Black women's hair to even be seen.
right.
So that's from the Black codes. So some of that stuff were survival things that, because they did it to survive long enough for us to get here,
Hmm.
for the survival of us, I feel like we got to pay them back by exercising all of the freedoms that they couldn't display openly as a means of continuing to exist on this planet.
Absolutely. That's why my collection of headscarves, man, I'm a YouTube queen. I be wrapping those suckers. You know what I'm saying? Fuck this hair. Like if I choose to do it, you're gonna get it however I choose to bring it. Like if I do a twist out and I don't feel like taking it down all the way because it's not all the way dry, I'm leaving that shit twisted up and you just don't see me with my twist. Is
And
that
you're
gonna
going to
stop you?
love them.
Exactly. Because you're gonna ask me about it because you think it's cute.
And that's the
And
thing.
yeah,
You
like,
know
because
why
you're
they're like
mad you
that?
can't do it.
That's what it is. That's what, and that's what Black people are getting hip to.
Hmm.
Listen, they stole us, okay? So every place Black skin is around this world that's not the continent of Africa, we were stole. And over there where the Aboriginals are, because they got off. They got there too. But
Hmm.
aside from them, every place you see Black skin, that represents the descendant of the stolen ones. So my question is this, right? What do you steal? If I were to break into your house, Doja, what would I steal? Would I steal your trash?
No,
What am I going to steal?
your best, your most valuable.
Ta-da! You're going to steal the valuables.
Hmm.
So if they stole us and did everything they could to erase our means of figuring out where they stole us from, mixed us up so we couldn't talk to each other easily, so we couldn't compare notes and conspire, it was literally a shuffle and deal. It was like a steal, shuffle, and deal type of thing with us and our tribes, right?
Right.
Why would they do that if it wasn't something so valuable that they were scared that we'd figure out how to get the hell out of here? So everywhere Blackness is, we are not the trash. We are the jewels. We are the valuables, because what do you steal? And that's where I'm at with my kids. I'm like, no, fuck that. Nope, they stole us. If we were trash, they wouldn't have stolen us.
Hmm. And why they trying to hold on so tight? Like, because if they really didn't want us anymore, if they really, because that's what I think that whole "Make America Great Again." I think that's really what it's saying. But if they really were like, we acknowledge that we did some fucked up shit and we realized the error of our ways, so we gonna make this right. So we gonna take this out because that's racist. We gonna remove all the racist laws. We gonna rewrite this shit so it's fair. We gonna give you,
All right.
we gonna help you reestablish your shit, that
Right.
we took from you, give you your worth. And,
Right, look.
but they not going to do that. I mean, we know that.
Right. Here's the thing, though. There are no two sides. Those elite, they all descend from the money people. So on the ground, there are sides. They create sides and they feed things from side to side, but they all sit in the same rooms, drinking that good scotch, making them shitty deals. Because if the Democrats wanted to stop Donald Trump, they could have done it already.
Really?
They could have. And if they really, really wanted him out of office, they would have sabotaged Bernie Sanders. It's literally
Exactly.
that. So now I'm like, presidential election, yeah, okay, I'm going to go in the booth and I'm going to vote. I might close my eyes and go like this and color in whatever circle I feel like it, because you've already told me the deal. And if the Democrat platform has none of the things that we need to live better, but a whole bunch of, well, Trump's a bad guy, we're nice, let's recapture the soul of America. What about the paycheck of America?
Right.
What about the motherfucking bank accounts of America? Can we capture a bank account?
How about you just cancel student loan debt at the start?
Let me tell you something.
Come on, that's not just going to help black people. That's going to help every other fucking person with a college debt.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you honestly, and I make no apologies about it. It's August, so I can say it comfortably. Whoever erases student loan debt, they got my vote.
Damn right. And I wish a motherfucker would tell me otherwise.
I wish they would talk some shit to me about how somebody made $44,000 disappear from around my neck, and I went in the fucking booth and said thank you. I wish somebody. I'm not saying my boyfriend was like, it's never gonna happen. I'm like, yeah, okay. That's why I'm comfortable saying it out loud, just in case it does. Whomever makes my $44,000 worth of debt goes away, and makes my man's $100,000 worth of student loan debt from graduate school go away.
And my 80.
You dig? Your 80, my brother's that, my sister's that, my cousin. And black women disproportionately right now are the degree earners. Yep. So we're all coming out with this fucking albatrosses around our neck, and now we can't get property.
Yeah.
Best we could do is rent. While Becky, dumbass, she comes out, she gets a $40,000 check and gets told, okay, go find you some place to live.
Yeah. Or here's $100,000 business loan. We believe in you.
Us is like, yeah, well, so that degree, what else you got? You're like, bitch. Becky got one and y'all throwing money out her face.
Right.
I got to get the double verification. Y'all, but I got better grades than her. Like, it's a whole thing.
Like, did you not see my extracurriculars? Like, what do you mean? Like, she wasn't doing shit.
You know what? But that's the black tax, right? We have to do those extracurriculars. It's not up for debate for us.
Right.
We can't just
But it's a choice for others.
Or a bonus for others. It's a given. Oh, well, and what else you going to do? You need this for your college application. They tell Becky and them, you want this for your college application. This looks good on your college application. We get told, I hope you don't think you're going to get into no upper echelon school without no extracurriculars, boo, because it don't rock like that.
You better have a backup because
And it's not fair. What if you told them, go be the best you can at all the things you find interesting, and we'll get you into the school you need to go to? What if that was the blanket conversation for all the kids? We'd be taking even more spots in these motherfucking universities. Why? Because we'd be applying to them. We wouldn't be disproportionately represented in other schools.
Right.
And it's no shade. But if we told kids what they needed, there'd be more of us in trade school fresh out of high school, because college ain't for us.
I'm telling you,
These fucking toilets can't fix themselves. You'll kill yourself playing with your electricity. That is a skilled trade, not to be played with by amateurs.
And it's respected. I mean, the union.
That's right. You have no choice. Y'all can't. We can't fix our own roofs. We'll hurt ourselves.
Exactly. And don't let us strike in this motherfucker. You just be no. People know when they'll be like, okay, we're just gonna do what they follow their demands.
Because you saw what TSA did.
Yeah.
You saw what TSA did. They said, okay, we're going to tolerate about 2 many more minutes of this. Watch us. The moment they shut down LaGuardia Airport, I said, the shutdown's about to be over, y'all. They were like, what you mean? I'm like, no, you don't understand. They picked LaGuardia on purpose. That was a warning shot. Because that's a domestic airport.
Mm-hmm.
Had them people not listened to that, it was going to be 2 airports next. JFK and Reagan Dulles.
Mm. I know about
third
Reagan.
one, right. The third one that would have shut down would have been LAX.
Mm-hmm.
Las Vegas International would have been the 5th. They would have shut all the ports down one at a time. All those tourism hubs, all those major money centers where all of those Miami would have gone down. It might have been LA and Miami. But the next 2 were going to be JFK and the one the one that the senators fly out of.
Yeah, those.
It was right. And I told them, I said, shutdown's going to be over before the day's over. They're like, girl, you crazy. I'm like, okay. Them people know when TSA has finally had enough of your shit to where they not working, like, it's a wrap. Shutdown about to be over. The shutdown was over before the sun went down. So warning shots get fired all the time. Right now, Black folks are starting, we're firing shots with our money.
Mm-hmm.
We will choke every single one of you major brands once we get sick of you.
Definitely.
We can do it. My thing is, do we have the balls? That's another question. But some of us kind of have to start and talk about how much happier we are that we're not freaking buying Colony. I'm about to get me some 3-ply toilet paper from Triumph Tissue.
Oh yeah, I placed my order last night. I can't wait.
I'm about to do mine. One for me, and I'm gonna do one for me, and I'm gonna give everybody else a roll out the pack, and I'm gonna keep 6 for myself. Y'all niggas be all right.
I'll send you the link so you can get your own.
You getting a roll and you getting a roll of toilet paper and an index card with the address, like here, 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 and here. Get out of my face.
Right.
The rest is for moi. This is these are Carla's. I gave y'all one. Get out of my face. That's it. Unless you want to give me some money so I can order five packs and then distribute. I'll play distributor. Will do. Everybody gets a roll and the website. Because it's time. And once you start, you start to feel it. Like all my friends are showing me what's happening with the products. They're like, girl, I threw all my lotion away. I'm like, good. It's trash.
Hey, I'm there. Like I'm trying to figure out exactly how much I gotta stay within a budget. I'm trying to be better with my money or whatever. But I really need it. Like, I'm just thinking like I'm still breaking out, and I think I'm using Biore right now, which nothing about Biore says fucking black skin. I know that, but it's me doing that trial and error trying to.
Is it a cleanser?
I have the in shower cleanser. It's supposed to warm up when you activate it. I don't know.
That's capsaicin. Okay, so they put a little bit of pepper in there.
Okay, and then they have like I don't know if it's micellar water. Is that what they call it?
Micellar?
Yeah, and it's like it's supposed to be like a charcoal.
That's cool.
Okay, I have some of that.
Because micellar water, it's charged with atoms, and it helps pull the dirt off of your skin. Okay. Yeah, micellar water is cool. Like that's just some cool like chemistry, physics shit. But stuff with anything with laureths, any of the sulfates, that's what makes big lather. But a lot of that tends to over dry.
Okay, yeah.
Anything that has the TYL, that's some kind of alcohol.
Okay.
Right? Which also, there's like 4 or 5 different classes of alcohols and waxes in the same bottle of lotion if you start to read it.
See, but that's the thing. I'm trying to get natural. Like that is my whole point. It's like as I'm healing the inside and empowering myself, I need to do the same with the outside. So like I've been natural since 2009, so this is fine. And
Congratulations. It's great.
thank you. And you know, right now I'm using black products. I'm happy there. I'm trying to learn how to do it myself because of course that friend I told you about is a hairstylist,
Ah,
and you know what I'm saying. So that connect's gone now. Hence,
right.
you see what I'm going on
It's
with.
great. It's great. I
So.
stopped. Listen, I grew this.
Mhm.
I grew this when I stopped dyeing my hair. It was about that long, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I grew this. This is all me. I did this.
That's awesome. And I mean, and I know I have it in me to learn how to do it myself. That's why I'm like, okay, so next is the skin. You know,
Yeah.
because I mean, of course, you know, during quarantine, you know, stress, you know, dealing with all this, you know, I started breaking out, you know, and I'm like looking at my medicine cabinet and I'm like, man, there's a whole bunch of shit in here I don't use. Like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I
Yeah.
gotta, you know, so I'm trying to clear all that out and really get stuff that works. So
A
I'm a
master's degree should not be required for self-care. You should be able to read everything on the jar and know what it is. Like everything on my product jars, you can read and you can freaking spell. It's actual regular words, ingredients.
mhm. Yep.
Coconut oil, shea butter, aloe vera, vitamin E, you know, basic spellable, readable, explainable stuff. Like maybe that's just a metaphor for something bigger, right? I feel like if we can't explain it, we shouldn't be doing it.
Mm,
You know, if we
yeah.
can't find the rationale and the reason, why is it happening?
Yeah. Hey, maybe that's where we have mindset change, you know, or Stephanie says shift, right? You
Yep.
doing the mind shift? Yeah.
Yep. So
Okay.
I'm glad we had time to talk. Like you've been like I've been able to share so much about myself. This is great. Did we talk
Yes,
about
I'm glad.
like is there anything else that you want to
And I mean I understand like I don't have children,
do?
but for me it always seems like if you really take the time to explain something and make sure that before you leave that conversation that they understand, then
And
you
you know
know,
what? Sometimes they don't understand until you give them a scenario to think about.
yeah.
Sometimes we just tell kids don't do something, but we never get into what happens if you do.
And why and the why
Why is this dangerous? So that
right,
you're not craving some unseen, invisible, ooh, they're keeping me away from fun. It's like, no, actually, um, if you touch that, electricity will shoot through your body and your organs will start to cook from the inside. What? Yes, cook. Like this fried chicken. But imagine it'll be your kidney. Done. My kids, I was a health teacher. After my health class, after my lesson on STDs, let me tell you something. I was at the prom. Them same kids who was in my class, they knew Miss Kelly had supplies on her just in case. And if you thought you might need supplies before you leave the prom, you make sure you come see me.
that's
But we're not
awesome.
doing prom babies. I don't play that shit.
I heard
I use
that.
that same language. I was like, Miss Kelly, Miss Kelly will have supplies in her purse and you come find me. You do not leave unsupplied.
Right.
And so
Regardless of who you are, male, female,
I don't
doesn't
care.
matter.
I don't care. And I was like, and girls, BYOC is a real thing.
Yes.
That's what the grown-ups do. I tell them straight up, we don't play, we don't rely on them.
Mm-hmm.
Grown-ups purchase their own supplies. So,
Right.
but if unexpectedly you think you might be in need of supplies, you see me before you leave the prom. Everybody hand up and promise. They were like, I made the seniors put their hand up and promise me. Don't play like that. Every year I left the prom with about 3 less condoms. Every year. I
How
did my
many how
part for the
many was you
motherfucking
carrying? Did you
community.
have that big box?
Yes, but I pulled it out the box, right? And I
Okay.
had it in like a little smaller, like a makeup bag, a cloth makeup bag,
Gotcha.
just neatly laid out. You know what I mean? In a compartment, so it's slim. Purse
Yeah.
was right here, so if they pulled me to the side, it was like, be right there. Grab my purse. We go around the corner. Yeah. So Miss Kelly, I feel like supplies might be in order. You know what, baby? 1 or 2. There you go. Put it right in the suit, like. And I would be the one to be like, and I would put it on the side that didn't have the corsage. I mean the boutonniere, so that there'd be no pin near it.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
placed the supplies in a secure location so they couldn't accidentally pop it.
Right.
That's also why I wanted them to come see me, so I could make sure the condoms were in a place where they would be undisturbed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
See, but
yeah.
that's good looking out. See, most people, that's how I know you and your calling, because most people wouldn't even give, I mean, I don't want to say most people, but there's
Many
not
don't.
enough people,
Many
not
don't.
enough people that care about, care that much.
You know why? Because they've forgotten what it's like to be these young people.
Mm-hmm.
I know full well that if I made out with somebody at the prom, but if I was
I
of that
know.
mindset, I would have loved to know there was a teacher on the boat that I could be like, look, Mr. So and so, I'm going to college in 2 months, and I'd like to go there the same way I am right now. So you got some supplies? No, I'm sure there was somebody, probably one of the health teachers. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the health teachers was on that boat and he had supplies in case the boys came to them. Well, because a lot of the athlete boys, they always tight with the health teachers and the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to bet those men were stocked with supplies. I'm willing to bet.
Yeah.
Because I never heard of a prom baby come out of my school. Maybe like later in the summer, you might fuck around and make a mistake. Prom babies were not a thing in my school. So
See, we need more of these people at our other schools, so there's no need for these alternative schools, where you're sending, pregnant students. Like, I never understood that. That just seemed like some fucking bullshit. Like, you're really like taking dignity away from that
yeah, it's
person.
segregation and it's unkind.
Yeah.
What
Like, I
is
mean, if that young girl has been, granted she's pregnant now, but she's been in school doing good or whatever, she got her friends or whatever, her friends are gonna help her raise that damn baby. Especially if that boy is not trying to be a part of it. So why would you rip her away from that whole situation, including him, in case he did want to help and be a part of that situation and he's responsible?
all the adults
And
she's gotten to know, now she can't readily access them and their
exactly.
wisdom. It's unkind, but society's unkind to females. And they're
Yeah.
really unkind to Black girls, But
Yeah.
you and I have been at this for
I know. And I thank you so much, because I know you're busy and you probably have other engagements that I'm holding you back from. So
You're not holding me back, but I do have to reset because I was invited by Janae. You were talking about Janae. She and I collaborated on a curl box. So look, I love my curls. We collaborated on a curl box. So I'm actually adding my hydrating hair potion and my magic hair butter to the curl box. So
okay.
people who order that, they're going to be able to also, so they're going to get like tools to take care of their kids' hair. And they're also going to get a small set of Black Indigo natural products. So
Awesome.
tonight we're going to be on Facebook live at 8 talking
Okay.
about the curl box and letting people know and stuff like that. So I'm just going to change into another shirt so I don't look like I was in the same person.
Oh yeah. Well,
But
hey,
I'm so proud to have been here with you.
thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, I can't wait for this to drop and just to share this with the world. And you coming back. Like, you part of my Black delegation now.
I'd be
So
sad if I'm not invited. I am on your Black delegation. Count me in, 100%.
yes,
All right,
yes,
sis. So
yes.
this was such an honor.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Honor is all mine. So let me tap in, because I gotta shut this shit down, and then I can tap in and watch you and Janae. So, and I'm interviewing her and Janae and Dave tomorrow.
Yes,
So
see it all
we're doing
come
a
through.
couple. So I'm
Leaning on
bringing
the
my
game.
husband. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
I'll be online watching that. I'll be there for that.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, I'll see you in a minute, viewing, of course, and thank you.
Thank you again. Bye.
Bye.
That's enough game for now. Follow Queen Doja on Facebook and Instagram at The Script Podcast, online at thescriptpodcast.com, and YouTube at bit.ly/The Script Podcast. Stay awesome, blessed, and always on script.